Thank you. Okie dokie. So we can start 3 minutes past the hour. First of all, we will do some normal business. So let me first go through Kula Brajana presentation, right? Like always, we explain what the meaning of our name is, Kula Brajana Europe Online, where Brajana can be translated as illuminating the Kula, or also my favorite one is allowing the light of the Kula to shine. This is a project made by a group of country coordinators, Julia Schlenker in Germany, Lea Klein in Netherlands, Ulrich Notlef from the Scandinavia area, more precisely from Denmark, Estela Iglesias from Spain, and myself from here, Austria. We based ourselves in a beautiful offer made by Lisa Long and Madhuri Martin in the States called the Samudra Shakti Online. And as we always do, we ask you if you like our content to please contribute with our Anusara School of Hatha Yoga. Today, it's going to be a very funny, it's not just a presentation. It's going to be more like a talk show. So it's more like a conversation between my dear friend now. I think I've never met you live. I've never had the pleasure of really being with you in the same room. But we've been working for so many years together, so you are becoming a dear friend already. Gianni Chavez. He just sent me his short video, bio. So Gianni is from Ecuador, but he lives in Argentina. And he started his Anusara practice in 2008, teaching Anusara Yoga since 2010. He is currently experienced certified Anusara teacher and has participated in different roles since the beginning of the Anusara School of Hatha Yoga. Since October 2023, he serves as the Director of Professional Development and Operations. Besides his passion for Anusara Yoga, he is passionate about human development. He holds a BA in Marketing and Communications, a master's degree in Human Resource Management, and a certification in Human Development Coaching. And I must say that he has been for many years working very actively in the Anusara School of Hatha Yoga. Me, myself, so I'm going to be kind of like a host, like an interviewer, and I'm going to be asking questions to Gianni. Gianni is going to answer some, and if you have questions yourself, you can, of course, ask them. If you have questions in different language, you can also ask them through the chat and we will translate them. So currently we have possibilities to translate to Spanish and to German. If you do not understand English, please let us know. So either we speak more clear or we translate as we go. Let me introduce myself. My name is Letizzia Wastavino, for those who don't know me. I am also a certified Anusara yoga teacher. I started to do Anusara in 2010, became certified, I believe, in 2018 or 17. Since 2016, I think, I've been part of the board of directors and the country coordinator for Austria. And currently, I'm the vice president of our board. So since I'm talking about, you hear a lot about the board or the school. I wanted to begin the conversation with actually separating, so to say, the Anusara Yoga method from the Anusara School of Hatha Yoga, right? So let's start asking Gianni, what is the Anusara School? Anusara Yoga. What is the method? Let's talk first about the method. What is Anusara Yoga?
Well, first of all, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Letizzia, for this great introduction and all the KVEO team for inviting me to do this. I'm really happy to be here and actually getting to know many of your faces. I have receiving a lot of emails from many of you, and well, it's beautiful to be able to get to know you. What is Anusara Yoga? Anusara Yoga is our practice and is what we teach. That is what is Anusara Yoga. It's what we learn to teach, and it's also our practice. Anusara Yoga, it's a living method or methodology to say. And it's part of our experience as teachers, and also is part of what we are trained to do in order to offer a yoga experience. That is Anusara Yoga. And then the next question was, what is the school? The school is the organization that makes sure that Anusara not only remains alive, but makes sure that the legacy of Anusara Yoga and the standard of our teachers remains high. So that's part of what the school is. The school is the organization that keeps the trademarks of Anusara Yoga. It's also the organization that keeps the record of all of our members and students, and is the organization that also keeps track of the professional development that our members and students are having through the school. I hope it's clear. I hope
Yeah,
that.
I was talking with Julia before the meeting today, and I was telling her that, you know, I come from academia. That's my background, and for me, the school of Anusara, it's basically kind of like the organization, kind of like the university where you go and you get your degrees. And the Anusara method is what we study. And for me, for instance, it's very clear that the more you study, right, the higher you get in your knowledge. And I was also telling her, you know, you don't make a bachelor and then you are a professor, right? And there are steps in between to get into becoming a professor. And I will say that the certification process is that process to get towards becoming a professor. So it's a very high education degree, if we want to have it, among our school. And for me, actually, the school is the way that I get closer to the Kula. So I think that's my main reason why I had been working with the board for so many years, because it keeps me very connected to the Kula spread uh, around the world.
Yeah, and
Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's something important, because our methodology has three pillars. One of them is, the philosophy, the tantric philosophy. The other one, it's the principles, the UPAs, and the third one is, the sense of community. And our school is that community, is the school, the concept of having a school. It's the vessel. Before 2013, when the school was created, we were just practitioners and students of Anusara Yoga that was held by and owned by a person, a single person. After 2013, what happened was that Anusara Yoga was owned by every one of us. We became actually the owners of Anusara Yoga. And the school was created to keep that legacy, to keep that union, that common language, that sense of unity between all of us. And that
So
was a vision of some of the some senior members of Anusara Yoga that say, hey, this happened, and now what do we do? How can we keep this? And then, the school was born, to say.
yeah,
So
and actually the method, right? The Anusara method is the one who was created in 1997. But the school as an organization started in 2013, when the senior teachers took, so to say, the trademarks and and the method, and they created the school, which was decided to be led by our own teachers, which is a big difference between just being a one-man school, so to say, a one-man organization, plus a whole teacher-led organization, which we are now. So talking about this, what will you say the school is made up of? I mean, what is the components? What are the components of the school?
Well, I would say that the school is composed by two groups of people. The staff, which is currently now only two people, Aline and myself. And well, we have a bookkeeper also, Beth, three of us are the staff. And then, but Aline and I, we are the ones that are mostly involved with the community. Beth is more involved with everything that is behind, which,
All the finances. Yeah.
all the finances and that. And then we have a group of volunteers. That's the second group. Volunteers are people who love and want to be involved with the school and want to support the school in many different ways with their talents, their passions, their ideas, their commitment, and with also with the I would say with the hope to keep Anusara thriving.
Mm.
And then the third part of the school are all of our members. And that's the most important role that we have right now. It's our members. I put it on the third part because the other ones are, more engaged or involved. But what is really happening right now is that the majority of our members, they practice and love Anusara yoga, but they don't know how to get involved or how to be involved with the school. And that's key, because once you get involved, or once you get to know the information from the school, then how could you advance in your professional development, career? What are the benefits of being a member? What are the opportunities that the school are creating right now for everyone who is a member? So that's something that I am also a trainer. We as a trainer sometimes forget to invite our students to be part of the school. And today, I would say it's key to bring our community and our members together. So yeah, that's the school. It's part of the school is our volunteers, our staff members, our staff, and our members. And then we have our community, which is all the students, practitioners, enthusiasts, everyone who is able to practice or knows Anusara yoga from a teacher. However, has never taken a training, workshop, or anything, or hasn't studied Anusara yet. That's our community, our reach of people. Yeah.
And I will add up as well that the beautiful part of the school being run by our own teachers is that we know what it's needed, what our students, what our own communities, what our local communities need to keep expanding or need to keep growing. So the fact that we are a school run by teachers, you can see among the amazing group of volunteers working, right? The board of directors, we are all volunteers. The country coordinators, they're all volunteers. There are people working behind for the curriculum to continue evolving our curriculum, continue, what's the word I'm looking, updating.
Expanding and updating.
Yeah, updating
expanding
our
and
curriculum.
updating.
And there are many other projects behind that. The majority of our teachers do not necessarily need to know, but they know that they can count in the organization to keep the school supporting and creating richer curriculums. Like, for instance, what we were offering a few last weekend, right? We had these therapeutic applications of the Anusara Yoga method, which is something that was created by a group of teachers. The Therapeutic Applications Manual was created by a group of teachers, and now we are teaching it, right? And now we are noticing how to actually teach Anusara in a different, broader perspective. What
I
would
would
you
say,
say it's one of the what would you say it means to be a member of the school? This is a question that normally we
yeah,
get quite a lot.
before jumping into that question, I would say the following. Think about this. If we don't have this enthusiasm from our members, this commitment from many of our members, this space, Kula Brajana, Europe Online, won't be happening. So this is because a group of teachers says, hey, how can we get our members, supported and committed, and also how can we get our communities unified? Oh, let's create this platform, and it's happening every month, and it's brilliant because it's featuring teachers, it's sharing information, and it's at the same time, and it's collaborating with other teachers, other members, and at the same time, it's having a time to be together. So, that is the power of what I think are members, and that is the power of being a teacher-run school or teachers-led school. It's we know what we need, and we have the ability, the talents, the uniqueness, the capacity to do it. It's just how we organize, and that is the beautiful of our teachings also. It's when we follow the principles, then we are able to express and manifest in a very delightful way. So yeah. Now, what are the benefits of being a member? I would say that first of all, the benefit as a member, and I've been a member since 2010, and I never questioned my membership. First of all, because reality is, and this is something from Gianni as a yoga teacher, reality is that I cannot teach anything else. That's the truth. It's I cannot teach anything else. I would stop teaching yoga if I have to say, well, I am not, I want, if I don't renew my memberships because I stopped teaching yoga. I was training in Anusara Yoga. I think it's part of my it's part of being in alignment with myself to say if I am teaching what I learned, and also taking responsibility of those teachings, by being a member. However, what are the benefits of being a member? First of all, you have a clear curriculum and a clear professional development path. Second of all, the school is always offering resources to you, for you, so you can be supported and you can keep growing as a teacher. Third of all, you are in constant continuing education development, to say you are constantly being offered educational opportunities to keep expanding your knowledge. And third of all, I would say, I'm not sure if that's the third or the fourth, but third of all, yeah, the fourth. I would say that you belong to this amazing community of teachers that not only give you feedback or share with you some experiences, also they welcome you to be part, and you feel like home every time you go to you are involved in one of our events or Anusara events. So those are you can think about those are emotional benefits, some of them, but other benefits, tangible benefits. It's as a member, you are able to be a leader. among the school. As a member, you are able to offer content for the school and create and develop content, not only for the school, for your own yoga practice. And also, as a member, the school is offering different kind of opportunities for you to thrive as a teacher. For example, Yayendra and Ellen, this year, or I would say since I took over this position, we focus on professional development because our members are asking for content. And now it's a huge opportunity for everyone who wants to offer a training with the school, not an 200-hour or 300-hour training, but something that goes beyond that. For example, I am talking to one of our certified teachers that she wants to offer a nonviolent communication training, which is another skill that we as teachers needs to develop. I'm talking to another teacher who wants to offer business for yoga teachers, which is another skill beyond our 200-hour and a 300-hour curriculum. So the school is focusing in right now in offering how you can keep thriving as an Anusara Yoga member, how you can keep developing skills as a teacher, and how you can keep developing your own self as a successful person. So that's part of what I think are the benefits.
You mentioned a clear professional development path. So what is that? What is that path?
Well, so the path when you enroll into an Anusara Yoga teacher training, once you have entered your training, you have the opportunity to be assessed by your trainer. And your trainer has the capacity to recommend you or to see if you are meeting the standard of our licenses or of our methodology. So then after that, you have the opportunity to begin to the first level of licensing, which is Anusara elements. And that level means that you have competency in teaching Anusara yoga. Once you enter in that first level of licensing, you start developing your professional career as an Anusara yoga teacher. After some years of experience and after meeting some requirements like studying your 300-hour teacher training, having a class with so someone can see your class and recommend you to the next license, then you apply for the next license, which is an Anusara Inspired Yoga teacher. And it means that you have proficiency in teaching with the fundamentals elements of Anusara Yoga. And then you keep growing. Once you meet some other requirements, you are able to apply to become a certified teacher. And it means that you are an expert as an Anusara Yoga. Then, once you become certified, you have two other options. The first one is to become a trainer. And as a certified trainer, it means that you have the capacity and you are able to train students to become teachers. You have the capacity and you are able to offer 200-hour Anusara Yoga teacher trainings. And then you get to the second level of trainers, which is an experienced certified trainer. And that means that you not only are able to offer 200-hour Anusara Yoga teacher trainings, you are able to offer 300 Anusara Yoga teacher trainings, and you are able to train trainers. You are able to train other certified teachers to keep growing in their professional development path.
So
Also, the school...
Can I stop you, Gianni?
Yeah,
because
sorry.
I'm getting curious. How long did you say that you've been studying Anusara Yoga since you started to practice Anusara until you became certified? How long did it take you?
I started to practice Anusara Yoga in 2008. Back in those days, we did not have the Anusara Elements license. We only have Anusara Inspired license. And it was an honor to be invited to become an Anusara Inspired license teacher. It was
it
an
was not
honor
for
to,
everybody, right? It was
yeah,
very,
it was an,
you made, you felt very special somehow. I also started my career as an inspired. I was never elements.
it was
And it
an
was really
honor.
weird, like your teacher will pick you to be, to be inspired,
It,
no?
it was an honor to be, being recommended by your trainer, your mentor. You are
Yes,
ready
Julia
to,
says in the
to
chat it was half a certification. Yeah, it was hard to become inspired. I remember. Yeah.
it was not all, it was never about meeting the requirements. It was about commitment, committed study, adhikara, and it was about, passionate about it, about Anusara Yoga. I became inspired in 2010 after 2.5 or maybe 3 years of studying Anusara Yoga. And it was interesting because I entered the inspired process, to say, with more than 700 hours back in those days. Like, I did my 200-hour teacher training, redid my 200-hour teacher trainings, and I took a bunch of workshops with as many teachers as I could. And my trainer, she was always my mentor and trainer, and now a good friend. She always encouraged me to keep studying, even with some other teachers, like, go and listen someone else. Don't just get the information from me. So she was very generous in that. So I became an Anusara Inspired teacher in 2010. And then just in 2017, after, I would say, probably 9 years of being an Anusara student, and maybe 7 years of being a teacher, she recommended me to become a certified teacher. So it was late 2016. I applied in early 2017, and then it was, I was in the process. The process can take you as long as 2 years. It can take you from a minimum of 6 months, or as long as 2 years.
And if you ask me,
And
I will say that that's one of the most interesting processes as a Anusara teacher. I think you really learn how the method is. You really learn how to teach it. I mean, because you think that you know, you think that you have it very clear, but then when you have to write down, like when you get the exam, right? For those of you who are in the process, we are with you. This exam, right, that it's like writing a thesis. Basically, you really have to put all your knowledge in well, not in a piece of paper. Now you do it all with the computer, but you really have to write it down. And then when you have to give the class, the video, and really make it a super precise class where you go through all these particular lists that you have with the how is it called, the UCAF? I do not know the name. You know the names.
Universal Class Assessment Form.
Yeah. So with that form in front of you, my God, oh no, I did not teach in 2 poses. I only did it in 1 pose, all the UPAs. And you have to go back, right? I think that's you really, because not only you learn to listen to your mentor, I will say, but you also learn from your own ego. Maybe I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. And I think it's a beautiful process of really noticing that you're still a student, even though you think that you're ready to become the professor, no? Julia,
Yeah.
you have your hand up.
we were talking about the benefits of a membership, and then we were talking about this is Julia speaking, by the way, and then we were talking about what it needs to be an Anusara teacher, that you need to be willing to learn more, and that this is what our method is about as well, like study or continued education, continued study. And I think there are also lots of teachers out there who don't have or who don't yeah, how do you say it, sorry, in English,
The support behind, no?
Yeah, they don't want to teach trainings, for example, so maybe they don't see the sense in becoming certified as well, or maybe they are not as engagiert, like was heißt engagiert?
Engage.
Not in like so sorry.
What?
So I was wondering, is there like dedicated? Yeah, like dedicated
Thank you, Elena.
Thank you, to keep on studying that much, you know. And I think, I don't know, do we have a way to grab these kind of teachers as well, and to bind them to the school in other ways, with like being like working for the school or something? Or does it have to be dedication to become a better and better teacher, and to go further and further during the certification process?
I would say something first. So first of all, the professional path, the professional development path, it's always an invitation. You don't have to become Anusara Inspire or Anusara Certified or Anusara anything. It's an invitation, and it depends of personal growth. That's the first thing, that it's up to the student about personal growth. And also it's up to the it's actually a personal I would say a personal decision. I never thought about being a trainer. I never thought about being a certified teacher. I just love to learn, and I just love to teach, to share my teachings. And then someone else was seeing me, someone else was telling me or encouraging me, you know, I think you're ready for this. Think about it. Someone else was mentoring me. Someone else was, guiding me. So it's never an obligation. That's the first thing. I know people that they have stayed as Anusara inspired teachers because they just want to be an Anusara inspired teacher. They don't wanna offer trainings. They don't wanna get certified. They don't want to, they are just happy with just teaching workshops and just, teaching Anusara yoga in classes. I know certified teachers that they don't want to become trainers. They just want to be certified and offer classes and workshops, and they don't want to become trainers. That is a personal choice. However, the school has the professional development path, and it's offered to any member. So to answer your question, Julia, about how they can get involved with the school, there are many ways that as a teacher or a person can get involved with the school without advancing in their professional development ladder or path. Hatha Panu is here, and she is a board member. And she said, you know what? I'm just an Anusara Elements, but I love Anusara Yoga, and I want to collaborate as a board member. Estelle Iglesias is here, and she's an Anusara inspired teacher. And she said, I love my community, and I want to serve as a country coordinator. So there are many ways to be involved, not only with the school, and with your community.
Yeah, but not
We're
only
getting
that,
back to,
she also stepped into organizing Samavesha last year, which was huge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's for me, it's more about, stepping forward, being a leader, that's the call.
Yeah, and Julia wrote on the chat, but what are their benefits, right? I mean, what would you say is the biggest benefit, for instance, for teachers who just want to stay as elements or as inspired, that they don't care about the development, the professional development path?
They don't care about the professional, or they don't want to.
But they don't want to.
They don't want to follow the professional. I won't say they don't care. They don't want to follow the professional development
by the
path.
way, I'm not the most political correct person, so yes.
The good thing, this is live on Facebook. That's the good thing. Okay, so what are the benefits of them? I think there are many benefits that we can offer to them. If they don't want to they don't want to enroll in a professional development path, there are also, there are the benefits of sharing in community. There is also the having access to different resources, that the school always is creating. They can also has the opportunity to, even though they are not advancing, keep learning and growing into their own practice. That's the benefit.
May I add something? I mean, like, for instance, in my case, when I started, right, I mentioned that I jumped immediately into Inspired because my teacher kind of like told me to. And then for me, becoming part of the school was basically knowing that whatever workshop or whatever training I took was with a highly educated person. So I will go very, like, for instance, if somebody was offering Anusara workshops for the lower back pain, I knew that my lower back pain was going to be safe, so to say. So you kind of like know that because you're already part of the school, you know that the teachers are very serious somehow, that they don't come, like, for instance, I had taken workshops with people from outside Anusara, and they claim that, they are experts in, as I said, I'm not very politically correct, so I'm not going to say names, but I had taken workshops, say, in functional movement, and they come talking about fascia. And you ask a question and you notice that they are not very well educated in certain things. That's something that I had never encountered with any of the teachers from Anusara. I feel like the Anusara teachers are very dedicated into their as a student.
Studentship.
So I feel like they don't teach something they don't really know. And it's kind of like this, being, so that's one of the biggest things for me to be part of the school. I know I can trust those teachers. And that's for me is huge. And if I go to, I travel a lot. So then if I go back to Chile and I step into an Anusara Elements class, I know that I'm going to be part of the same method that I love. So I think being part of the school is basically knowing, I always say the same way, that you know that you're fine there, that you're at home, that you belong to, that you speak the same language, even though you might speak very different languages. But for me, like, I studied Anusara in Canada, and then I moved here very early to Austria. And I just mentioned I met Elena in one of those awesome workshops, and it was the same methodology. It was the same feeling of being at home. It was the same feeling of keep being able to learn what you like or what you love. And I felt like, I felt very, how do you say, not exciting, but humble when Alessandra asked me to become the country coordinator for Austria, because for me it was kind of like, of course, this is a way for me to give back to the school for everything that I had received from the school.
Lovely. I would like to read some comments in the chat first. Sarah Powell says, the certification process gave me so much self-confidence, which I think it's true. It's something that all of us experience when we're going through the certification process. We face our fears, you know, and we take responsibility of the seat of the teacher. It's a lovely responsibility. Elena says, I think their benefit is that there is an opportunity of constant growth and partners on the way, mentoring them, guiding them to become better teachers. Anusara offers a curriculum after the teacher training itself. So you can still have goals, follow the path, learn from people who are a couple of steps ahead of you. Very inspiring, I think. So yeah, that's true. It's part of it. It's our learning, our studentship, our arikara is, I would say it's so important in our community that we offer constant growth through your yoga teacher experience. We all, even though, as you said, Letizzia, even though I'm an experienced certified teacher, I'm always a student. I'm always going to every class that I take with humbleness and with openness. That's our first principle, open to grace, openness and curiosity, you know, and learning from that person, because it's an amazing and very interesting and a different taking from me. You know, it's kind of like a different approach that they can have to the same thing. However, so enriching and delightful. So yeah. Great.
Yeah,
Here,
I'm very happy to read what Elena said, because it's exactly how I feel. Thank you so much. And I know that many who had gone through the certification process feel the same way. It's a big step, and I think it's kind of like you really think that it's a little bit like, realizing that there is so much more to still learn, that you still do not know everything. So it's always this opening cascade of opportunities, I feel. So let's go a little bit more, how do you say this? More al hueso, to the point.
direct to
yeah.
the point.
So our process, right? We to come to Anusara, first, of course, you take classes with an Anusara teacher, and then you look for a certified teacher to do your teacher training. And then what happens after you're done with your teacher training, with your 200-hour teacher training?
So after your 200-hour teacher training, you get your certificate of completion and Anusara yoga training. And then if your trainer is kind of, I would say, because it's not like a conditioning thing, but if your trainer sees in you, I won't say sees in you, but, or if you were able, I would say, if you were able to demonstrate during your teacher training all your growth and how you grasp the different skills that an Anusara teacher needs to have, then your trainer invites you or tells you to apply for an Anusara Elements license. So that's how it is. After you get your after
Before
you
going
finish
into the next one, what can you do with your Anusara Elements license? What does it mean to have it?
So having an Anusara Elements license means that you have the competency to call your classes Anusara Yoga, to teach all the fundamentals elements of an Anusara Yoga class. Meaning that if someone is going to your class, they know exactly that they are practicing and teaching Anusara Yoga.
Mm-hmm. And then comes the next step, right?
And then from that point, if you want to move along our professional development path, it's about experiencing, about keep learning, about fulfilling some requirements, and then you keep growing from there. However, today I was talking to Estela before this meeting, and she was asking me something that is happening among many communities. So we have trainers that they offer teacher trainings, which is amazing. But then not all of them, not all of their students apply to become a licensed members. However, after they finish their teacher training, they start teaching yoga, and they don't know how to call their classes. They don't know how to say, hey, what am I teaching if I am not able to offer an Anusara yoga class? What am I teaching if I am not able, if I don't have a license, if I did not met the criteria or the requirements to become an Anusara elements at the moment, So, and this is something that I have been talking with many other trainers. We cannot take responsibility of our students' process, but we can take responsibility of our trainings. I make sure that all my students, even if they don't want to be licensed with the school, they are, they have the competency of an Anusara elements teacher. I make sure of that, and I create different steps and processes in order to make sure of that, like mentoring, something, like different parts. My idea is that all of them at some point apply to become an Anusara member.
Okay, so right in the chat right now, we have somebody who just finished the 200 hours training, and she's asking how does she get the license of Anusara elements. So what will you say?
So I would say I would put me as a trainer in example, because there are many trainers, and every trainer has their own I won't call it approach to the process. After my while in training, I watch all of my students' classes. Like I take the time to do that. Like every student, by the end of the training, they have to offer a class. So I schedule myself for 2 or 3 weeks of just, practicing and seeing classes. And there are many trainers that says, oh my God, that's a lot, but that's how I do it. I cannot say for the others. So after I watch their classes, I give them feedback. And then after that, I ask them if they are seeing some kind of refinements or where they can grow. And if for me, if they met the criteria that I think an Anusara elements need to have, they are recommended, and I say apply. If they don't meet the requirements.
This criteria is very clear, right? I mean, this criteria is
This criteria is very clear in the UCAF, and at the moment, and this is for all the trainers that are here, for all the ECATs, for all the certified trainers, I am working on a written standard that I will share with you all, so you have a clear description of what is the standard of an elements and inspired teacher. So you are able to see that standard. So and that's it. So once you end that's how I do it. So once you finish your training, if you presented a class and it was, it met the requirements of an Anusara class, then I right away tell you, you are ready, apply to become a licensed Anusara elements teacher. If I see your class and your class is not, does not meet the requirements because you feel nervous or something, I work with you a little bit so you can refine your structure of the class, and then we can reschedule. And then if you meet the requirements, you are recommended to become an Anusara elements. I've never, even though they don't get recommended at the very beginning, they want to go to the process of refinement. They want to say, hey, I know I was nervous, or yeah, I'm aware I did not did this or did that. So they want to go to the process of refinement. And those are my students. I don't know other ones, but that's the thing. I'm as a trainer, I'm very committed with my students. And I think all of our Anusara trainers are the same. They are very committed with their students. They want the best for them. They want them to be able to offer an Anusara class. However, we as trainers, we cannot be responsible of our students' process.
But you were talking about trainers, but there is also being part of the school also opens the doors to be able to contact also mentors or assessors that you start to meet while you're moving in your path. So
and that's true. So, for example, if your teacher does not offer any kind of mentoring or guiding after your 200-hour teacher training, the school has a lot of mentors that we can contact you or approach you or recommend them to you so you can work on your refinements. So that's part of the benefits of being an Anusara student and then becoming an Anusara member. The school has, I would say, a handful teachers, trainers that would love to, to offer you mentoring or to guide you through it. That's part of it. And I trust our trainers that they do it with all the devotion and they want the best for everyone. It's not that, they don't want me to move alone, or they don't want to recommend me. On the contrary, I think they want the best for you. So it's part of it.
Once one of my many teachers told me that the process of going through the path, right? It's kind of like taking a good teacher and making it the best version of what can become.
I won't say that.
And it's a little bit like that with the mentoring, or also with the assessors, right? When you're going through the certification process and you find these little stones that, for instance, okay, you didn't teach all the UPAs in one class. The mentor will tell you or will guide you in a way for you to find your voice in order to be able to teach.
Before going into that, I would say we're always our best version.
Julia has her hand up, sorry.
Yeah. Before going into that, we're always our best version, which is our today's version. However, our trainers, our mentors, our assessors has the ability to see a potential that we're not able to see it yet. And that's the potential that reveals when you enter in the process. That's the potential that it's revealed when you have a feedback from a mentor or an assessor or another teacher. It's something that we are not aware at the moment, but then we have a clear view of what is our potential. Yes. Now, Julia.
Thank you. Sometimes I think if you are new to this whole thing, to the school, and so it sounds so, well, like, there is in the school, there are people who can mentor you or who can be your assessor, and you think, well, I don't know these people. Why do they want to help me? And I can tell from myself that it's really true, because we have the same method and everybody knows the same, or teaches the same method. You just have to ask. That the way is much shorter than you think. And what is also brilliant, I mean, I just experienced this myself, and I know that other people here and somewhere else experiences it well. on a personal level, it's not always a perfect fit between two people, you know? So if you don't have this, if you end up with a teacher who you just don't click 100% perfectly with, you can just go ask for help somewhere else, you know? And everybody else will help you as well if you ask for it. And this is what just so lovely about a method, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. There is another question
Yes.
in the chat.
So
Whether is it correct that the students who have finished a teacher training and begin to expand by doing retreats, classes, etc., use in their advertising as a color the words Anusara style or trained in Anusara without being active members of the school? Maybe in some way they can compete with activities done by teachers who are active members of the school. A whole topic.
So this is a conversation that I had with Estela before, and that question comes from that. Again, so this is something that I do as a trainer, and if you're a trainer here and you're listening, I recommend you or suggest you to do the same. When in training, I offer a session about what happens after your teacher training. What happens after your 200-hour teacher training? Like the last part of my training, it's like I would say like I save like 10 hours to explain about the licensing process, to explain about what happens next, to explain about yoga and business. So what I do in my 200-hour teacher trainings is that if someone does not meet the requirements to become an Anusara Elements or does not want to apply to become an Anusara Elements, that's also a prerogative that they can have. And, you know, I suggest them some different forms to advertise their classes. Like, for example, yoga with alignment-based yoga. And then I offer them suggestions in how to write their bios, you know, train in Anusara Yoga or trained by this person, Anusara Certified Yoga. Or, you know, so in that way, they have a clear perspective of how to advertise their classes and how not to create confusion with licensed members. Because that is something that I'm also tell them about honoring, you know, honoring and methodology. And, you know, if someone is paying a license, they are doing a great effort because they want to honor the method and they want to offer something as it is. And if you choose not to do that, like because you have a different economic situation at the moment, you don't want or you don't want to pay a license or something or a membership, or you just, you know, when I finished my 200-hour teacher training, I never thought about, I did it for me. I never thought about teaching. And it took me maybe a year in order to say, you know what, I think I want to teach, you know. So in the meantime, within that year, you know, my teacher suggested me and said, well, when you're ready and when you think you want to teach, you can call yourself for your classes like this. So that's what I do. I offer them suggestions in order to offer their classes until they feel ready and they want to apply to become an Anusara licensed member. Oh, bye, Simona. Thank you so much for being here.
Right? It's already we are past our 9 p.m. stopping. There is another question on the chat. Yeah,
from Laura.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Why there are so few Anusara registered teachers? She asked in the UK, but there are many countries where there are not so many registrations.
Well, I'm not sure. And Sarah, our country coordinator has left. However, I think there are many places around the world that have different approaches about, registering as a member, and also different approaches about how to be in community. So, for example, I would say that because in the past, many of our licensed members, they did not, how can I say, they did not hold the our sense of community as a global community. They just hold their sense of their individual community. That fractures communities. That creates this kind of, I am not an Anusara yoga practitioner or an Anusara yoga student. I study with Gianni, that happens to be an Anusara yoga teacher. I study with Juan, that happens to be an Anusara yoga teacher. So instead of unifying, and getting together, and all licensed teachers and registered members start, working together in order to hold the community, they did not that. And that is, I guess that's one of the reasons why in some countries, there are few registered teachers, because they don't know they can get a license, or they can register themselves, or they don't even know the other members of their communities. They just know their trainer and the people they got trained to. I hope I answer you.
And yeah, now the question is whether the registration fees is the registration fee cost prohibitive to new teachers?
I don't understand the question.
If it's too expensive, is that what you're asking?
You can open your mic, Laura, if you want to. So. Prohibited? I don't think, no. Registration is not prohibited to any teacher, as long as they have been recommended or they meet the requirements of getting a license with the school. And as long as their trainers, invite them to be part of the school too.
Hello, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute for some reason. Yeah, it seems to be that in the UK, I think there's 26 registered, and I spoke to Sarah Powell about this, and she was wondering whether it was the registration fee for teachers to register to be able to use I am an Anusara teacher, whether that was putting them off because they didn't want to pay the fee to register as an Anusara teacher. Whereas, like you said previously, what you find is when you're trying to search for an Anusara teacher, you find people only by looking at who they've trained alongside. Just like you said, they say, oh, and I've studied with so-and-so who's Anusara. And it's very difficult as somebody who wants to do, I'm just starting on this journey and I want to do the teacher training, but I also want to do some Anusara classes. And it is extremely difficult to actually find anybody that is, well, there isn't anyone in the southwest of England that is registered as an Anusara teacher. The only ones that come up are London and around that area, which is, a little way for me to travel. So I'm just wondering what the reason is. Is it expensive to be able to use the name, I'm an Anusara registered teacher? What is it? Why are people, because I'm sure I know there are many more teachers, people that have qualified to teach Anusara yoga, but they are not using the brand name, so to speak.
That's an amazing question, and thank you for bringing that up. Thank you, Laura. Well, first of all, there is a conception or a preconception from the past that you were, how can I say it? That in order, if you're a registered or licensed teacher, you have these conditions to do. Like you can only teach Anusara Yoga, or you can only learn Anusara Yoga, or you can only do this or that, you know. The reality is that what we are asking our members or our registered teachers is that if you are offering an Anusara Yoga class, announce that class as it is. So that's why you pay your registration. For example, if I'm offering an Anusara Yoga teacher training and I'm using the Anusara Yoga teacher training curriculum, I announce it as it is, and I register my training within the school. And that's me. So I don't think it's about being expensive. It's not as expensive as we might think. I think it's more about people thinking that the school is policing teachers, to say, telling you what to do or what not to do, instead of just being able to register with the school. There is a preconception about that, and I think that has affected the number of registered teachers in different communities. I'm not sure what everyone else think. However, that's kind of my perspective of what's going on at the moment. Julia.
May I say something? So all our fees are listed on our website, and you can decide for your own whether it is prohibited or not. But a new member, for instance, pays. This is in dollars. I wouldn't know how much it is in pounds, but it's $150 around. And something that the board that we had created in the last years is that if you, by any chance, if you do have troubles paying that amount, you can either pay in how do you say this, in statements? Is that how you say?
In plans, you can have a payment plan,
or you can even
either,
I know the
Assisted fee.
the assisted
and we
fee
have
as well, no?
and we have the assisted fee, which is 30% less than the standard fee.
So I do not think that the money issue is what stops you from being part of the school. At least that's my
registered
hope.
teacher.
Yeah, a register. Yeah, Julia, your hand. It's 9:15, by the way. Julia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, as
You're welcome,
country
Laura. Thank you.
as country coordinator for Germany, what people tell me most, and I think this happens in the other countries as well, is that some Anusara teachers say that, well, I actually don't need to advertise my classes as Anusara because my local community doesn't know what Anusara is, blah, blah. That's what I hear most of the times. If you're not really committed to the school, then, and you just want to teach your yoga, and this happens to be Anusara, you could do it, of course, without being a licensed teacher. You don't have to call it Anusara, you know, this is possible. But I now got the idea again, and this is what I did as well. I didn't put Anusara in all my descriptions because it was just another word that filled the space, you know, of small names and stuff like this. But now hearing this, I think it's so important that we still do it, you know. I pay my fee. I didn't used to put the name in there because I love the school. I love to support the school and everything. But I think it's also, we have also we also need to, as teachers, we also need to keep the brand high and to make the brand visible for everybody, you know.
I agree on that with you, Julia. Is how are you say, well, nobody knows about Anusara. And what are you doing to make people know about Anusara? So I think that's on us, that's part of us as teachers, that we have to do it. Like I announce everything, and I announce everything as an Anusara yoga teacher trainer, or as an Anusara yoga teacher, like, and I would say, I would put the word shame, but I never feel shame of doing it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, nobody knows. I don't care. That's what I
know.
teach.
We
You know?
know.
Yeah, that's what I do. Is nobody knows. I don't care. That's what I teach.
And then, if you go to an outside Anusara workshop or training, and you realize the level of education other teachers have from other schools or from other styles, you really do feel that you are in the right place when you realize that it had happened to me that I feel like I know more than the teacher presenting. And I start to think myself, why I'm not teaching this? No? Because we don't realize sometimes, that we have such an amazing curriculum, that we have that we are very well educated. We don't know that. So when you step outside the Anusara world, and then you realize, and then you really feel proud of calling your classes Anusara. And as I always mention, educating other people. Telling
So-
other people that what you teach comes from a school, comes from a method that of course each one of us teaches in a different way, but we all teach the same thing.
So can I ask, what would be the way forward then in trying to raise the profile of Anusara to the general population? How will that happen? Because like one of the members said, that in Germany, as probably many other countries, that it isn't very well known, and that in itself may well put potential people off coming, because they say, well, I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to go to my Hatha class, my yin yoga, my restorative, because that's how they are labeled. How moving forward, how's the profile going to be raised? What do you suggest?
Well, I think that first of all, I think a suggestion will be inviting all of those teachers to be part of the school. Second of all, allowing, or they wanting to be guided in how to promote or to advertise these classes. And then third, they also need to start promoting and also letting people know what Anusara is through their own channels. It's a relationship. It's a relationship between the member and the school and the organization, and also the community.
Gianni, maybe we can also mention what the school is doing in order for creating more marketing, right? Yeah.
I was gonna say about that. So for example, when someone comes to me and says, you know what, I don't know what Anusara is, and that prevents them to take a workshop or a class or anything with me, I just, you know what, here's a link. This is Anusara Yoga. And I share with them some of the free videos that the school has. So they are able to experience something, not by me, but anyone from the school. Or I send them our YouTube channel, and I say, you want to learn more about this? This is what I teach. And I do that. And I also create my own videos about that. But I think it's a relationship. It's if we're, and I would say this is in everything in life. If you're not naming it, it's a hidden secret, and that is how it works in everything in life. Like, for example, and maybe this is not part of the conversation, but some people has different traumas and they don't name it. They keep that hidden, and it's always triggering when they are not able to name it. Once they name it, it's awareness, it's there. They say, oh, this comes again. So it's the same. If we don't name it, if we just kept that in secret, nobody would know. And people will be experiencing it, but they will know it's Anusara Yoga. I hope that that example was right or correct or in
And
alignment.
what I
because
also
it's-
wanted to add is that right now one of our big projects is that we are reworking the website to make it more orientated for students. For a long
Yeah.
time, our website was basically for
For
our own
teachers.
teachers to find information about, teacher stuff. And now we are working, this is a project that we had been doing in the last part of what the school does, is that we are working right now on the website to make it more attractive for students, so more presenting the method, since now we had managed to bring our members
Just to
close
let-
together. Now we are expanding, so to say.
Just to let you know, our website is being revamping in order to have a clear perspective for our practitioners and students, and a clear, I would say, hub for our teachers and our members. And it's a beautiful opportunity that we're creating, because you will find different playlists. Teachers will be able to offer online courses through our website. So it's going to be awesome.
That sounds great. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Laura. I think it's our time.
Yes, it's more than our time. So thank you so much for everybody. As always, it's super exciting to talk about the school and the method, right? So we could have continued talking, but it's getting late.
Just a few announcements from the school. If you want to reach out to me, please do it at professionaldevelopment@anusarayoga.com. And also check our website, anusarayoga.com, for future events. We have some interesting trainings going on philosophy with Carlos Pomeira, and some interesting offerings with what else? With the UPAs. So yeah, just that.
Yeah, there are many things in the, how do you say this, in the working behind us. So we are working on them. So as soon as we have information, we will be sending it to you. So stay connected with us.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
Of course, I'm writing on the chat the emails from Gianni. Oh, let me continue with the presentation, right? I mean, yeah, we have all of this in here, so I can show that. Where am I? I got lost. Share the screen. So just a short thing. Right, our website, anusarayoga.com. If you want to watch more videos or stay together with our European community, or basically online, the Kula Brajana online, you can go to that website. You can also come and present, so you can apply if whatever you want to, related with the school, of course, or with the method, you can come and present. If you have any feedbacks, or what would you like us to talk about in future meetings, please send us clicking in that link in the Kula Brajana, in the survey of the Kula Brajana website. And as again, I always have to mention it, we create things based on your contributions. So any contributions are more than welcome. And in the name of I think it is, of the Kula Brajana group, Europe Online, I say thank you so much. And let's see each other next month. June,
First Sunday.
the first Sunday of, so I think it's the June 2nd. I stopped sharing. And any questions, any thoughts, you can always find us and make us hear your voices and stay connected. So I say thank you so much, all, and looking forward seeing you too. Yeah, there is a Yoga for Aging as a heart project from Elena Lustig.
Thank you.
So super, yeah.
Thank you so much. You are amazing. And it was a wonderful time together.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you all. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.
Stop the recording.
I can't find it. It's gone. Under more. Oh, there it is.